So,
Hey
guys, look at all it. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Cedra, and this is Jordan with Engage Magazine. We're also joined by Maisie.
Hey, everybody.
She's from American Family Studios, and that's why she has the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the professional.
She's the professional. So,
Yeah.
and so we're a couple minutes behind, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
One of the things that we wanted to talk about kind of is millennials and the pro-life movement and how we feel about it. And most importantly, how does God define life?
I mean, hasn't the millennial generation been called the most pro-life generation?
I've heard that.
I think it's been the case. And whether or not, I mean, the statistics can say differently, I guess, but that is kind of encouraging that that's actually been brought up as a subject of discussion in our generation. So, that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
If you'll give us just a second, we'll get adjusted.
We're going to readjust.
We're going to readjust. We're trying to figure all this out. We've had some technical difficulties, but we are still here.
It's probably coming.
And
if you can't hear us, just comment and...
let us know, please.
And you can't see Maisie real well, but she's here. We're going to, like, squeeze in. She's here. We're just...
let's go back there.
You want to stay behind? Okay.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Okay. So...
Problem solvers.
Yeah, there we go.
Squeeze on in.
Us
here.
millennials.
We adapt. Adapt. So, Maisie, what did you have to start us off with?
Well, I think it's cool that we can now talk about a pro-life movie coming out called Unplanned about Abby Johnson, a former Planned Parenthood employee.
Yeah.
I think that now that we have that voice out there, the potential for growth in the pro-life movement is tremendous. Especially a well-made movie. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm going to guess that it's,
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're going to hear a lot about it in the coming days after it comes out. Like the impact, whatever the message is, like people are going to be affected by it. Like wherever you fall on that line, I think it will have a big impact.
But I think a big part of that is knowing the Abby Johnson story.
Yeah.
And I think she was the youngest person to run a clinic, a Planned Parenthood clinic. One of the youngest. But in 2009, September 2009, that all changed when she had to participate in an abortion where the doctor was guided by an ultrasound, and she watched the child inside the womb trying to escape from the doctor, and that just kind of it sent her on a different path where she was searching for answers, and she immediately, I think, pretty much immediately left Planned Parenthood and started seeking help from a pro-life organization. And so that's kind of her story, and now she travels all over and does speaking, and you may even see her on, like, Fox News. I know that she's been on there several times sharing her story. And so that's kind of what you're going to get to see with this movie, from what I can tell. It's just her story and what she saw that day that she decided to leave Planned Parenthood.
And a lot of times that's what it takes. I mean, because there's so many so-called educated people. I mean, they're all educated who have opinions on it. Some saying that no, it's just a clump of cells. There's nothing human about it. The other side saying no, this is obviously human. But until you see that for yourself, you can be swayed to believe anything. And so to be brought face to face with truth like she was. I mean, where you see it actually happening and you can't deny what the truth of it is. Yeah. That's key, I think.
Yeah, I actually went and did a lot of reading on her website just to kind of know her story from her side. And she shared a lot about how she started working there because she really thought she was helping women by doing what she was doing. And then women who find themselves in situations with a pregnancy that they'd never intended to happen, never wanted. And so she thought, isn't it better for them to have safe, legal abortions?
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to, dangerous back alley abortions, I guess. A lot of people try to portray it as these women are going to go, have these unsafe abortions. So we'd rather them be safe. And just, she kind of looked at it from one perspective, and that is the woman. And that day really changed that, where she started seeing all the other people that were affected. Of course, the child that's being killed. and then how it branches out. Somewhere there's a man who is a father for a short period,
right,
and he's affected, and then you branch out into their parents and the ones that would be grandparents, and just keep branching out into more people. It doesn't just touch one life.
Yeah, it affects everybody. And the thing is, there needs to be, and there are resources out there that will help women who are not ready to be mothers, who found themselves in a situation where they feel helpless and nobody around them wants to help them. There are resources out there for them, like all sorts of pregnancy crisis centers, and a lot of them are Christian too. So that's encouraging that they're out there. They're just not as well known, I guess, as Planned Parenthood.
But they're actually more abundant.
Yeah,
there are a lot more
yeah.
Pregnancy centers that will help you through a pregnancy and through the situation, help you guide you through the pregnancy and having your child, and give you more options. There's actually a lot more of them than there are Planned Parenthoods and stuff. So,
and if you need to find one close to you, we'll link below links to find those things. I believe getyourcare.org is one place. So if you find yourself in that situation or know someone, we can provide those resources to help you get what you need. And speaking on millennials and their view on pro-life, like you were talking about, you said there's mixed kind of views on, or mixed, what do you call, mixed
points of view.
Mixed opinions on the pro-life movement within millennials. So, like, I have 3 different articles here.
Yeah.
Most millennials are not pro-life. This is on Christian Post. I can link all these articles below. So check this out. When compared to their elders, millennials turn out to be less likely to strongly believe that all human life is sacred.
Right.
So the percentage is still high, 53% of millennials, but that's versus 65% of ours. Which I don't feel like 65% is enough for our elders.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I'm just curious among our friends, because we do have Christian friends, but I wonder how many of the people in our circles, how often we talk about this, or even if someone has expressed to us that they're not pro-life on our Facebook news feed, whatever.
I would be curious to see the numbers, because, I mean, on that, especially if being pro-life or pro-choice in that survey meant that you were... Oh, okay, let me rephrase that. So saying that all human life is not sacred, if that means that they were pro-abortion. Because a lot of people will say that if you're for the death penalty, you're not pro-life.
Right.
And so like, the pro-life topic actually touches a lot more than abortion. It touches euthanasia. It touches, and some people would argue it touches things like in vitro fertilization and things like that. So there are some gray areas even in the pro-life argument where even Christians can agree and disagree on things. So I would be interested in finding out, like, does that mean that they were all pro-abortion, or are they saying, well, I believe in the death penalty, and that defines me as not pro-life? I don't know. I mean, because there's some nuance in that.
Right, because it has become more than just abortion.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I mean, in vitro fertilization, storing eggs, anything like that has become part of this issue. So... I think when they're doing these surveys, I wonder how specific they are. Yeah. Because if you were to ask me, would you consider yourself pro-life? I'd be like, definitely yes. But if they got down to the specifics of it, someone else might not define me as pro-life.
Yeah. And at that point, I mean, obviously, having conversations and being civil and
just being nice. Like,
that's always good.
I don't like what you just said, but I'm gonna keep on going. It looks like we have some comments. Are there questions?
Yeah. I see somebody is sharing. Is this a
someone is sharing another pregnancy center
in Pontotoc, Mississippi.
Because I know I pass it every day on the way to and from work, and I actually know some of the people that run it. Actually, some of my family helps, so shout out to them. So if you go into the comment section, there are women there I see that are posting places they know will help, so it might be willing to check out. I know these people, so I know that if you see that one in Pontotoc, that it's a good one to go to.
So thanks, Daphne.
Yeah,
for
thank
sharing
you so much.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. I know you. I remember you.
Yeah, I actually know Daphne. Anyways,
Anyway,
thanks.
Yeah, so if you're in North Mississippi or in the Pontotoc area, and you need a good pregnancy clinic.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this video and you know of a good pregnancy clinic that will help women and give them options other than abortion, then please comment below, let them know. I will say, always, wherever place you go, make sure you do your research on everything. That's like my standard.
Yeah.
Always do your research on everything, but there are a lot of good ones out there if you'll just look.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do your research. Like, Google is,
yes.
just ask it a question.
Just ask
and
it
it'll
a question.
do it.
Yeah.
But be
exactly.
careful, it can be a black hole of doom and gloom.
Yeah,
but,
you can find yourself down some crazy areas pretty quickly.
Like, how did I get here?
So feel free, if you guys have any questions for us, go ahead and leave a comment. I see more comments rolling in.
Yeah,
so.
Daphne also pointed out the Memphis Morning Center in Memphis. So
Great.
It was actually mentioned on Airing the Addisons
yeah.
on the Urban Family Network, which is one of our we know them very well. We've worked with them, great people. So always check that out. So there you go.
So Daphne's giving us the hookup on all the
just keep them coming, Daphne. This is great.
Yeah.
We like that.
Just
So
go to Daphne.
and we have Heather Bagwell. Hey Heather, that's actually my cousin. I love you. So, anyways, back to the topic. I have friends across the board, and I have friends that are extremely pro-choice, and then I have friends. actually have a lot of friends my age that are extremely pro-life.
Yeah.
YouTube being
Yeah.
some of those people. But I have others, and I have one in particular, one other friend, though, that is extremely pro-choice, and I see her post all the time defending Planned Parenthood and stuff, and it honestly makes me extremely sad sometimes to see those posts. But, so I have them all over the place. I mean,
do you think that the pro-choice friends are just based on a lack of knowledge?
A lot of them,
choose?
I would say a lot of them.
A lot of them are kind of, I see them, a lot of them, their arguments are very much where Abby Johnson was before, when she was working for Planned Parenthood. Like, people have this idea that Planned Parenthood helps women. But how many times have we seen, they're talking about all these other, health options for women and mammograms and stuff like that, and people at Planned Parenthood are like, we don't have that. But other people make that argument for them, and I've even seen interviews where Cecile Richards, who was, of course she's not, CEO or whatever she was, Planned Parenthood anymore, but saying that they do not offer certain services and stuff. But I see most of these women, and really, honestly, I think a lot of them just think Planned Parenthood does all these wonderful things for women, and so that's the reason why they're so supportive. And they don't understand, and they see anybody who's against it as being against women's health rights.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, we talk about all these pregnancy centers, and there are other options to get your health care that you need, like screenings and tests and things like that. You don't have to go to a Planned Parenthood or a abortion clinic.
Right.
Right.
There are other options.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know a lot of the arguments for abortion, especially the ones who deny the personhood of an unborn baby.
Yeah.
Does come from a place of just not understanding a lot of the facts and just kind of buying into the PR of Planned Parenthood. But on the flip side, we need to be educated. We need to know what the options are. We need to know. I mean, if we're going to talk about the personhood argument, we need to be able to defend the personhood of an unborn baby. We need to be able to kind of know some of the science even and go into that, and so that we don't come from a place of ignorance as well.
Exactly.
There's a good conversation if you're having a conversation, we'll say a very strong conversation, not necessarily a debate or an argument, but with someone who disagrees with you on this topic. There are so many resources out there to help guide the conversation, such as, so you're telling me the value of a person in the womb is based on their location, their size, And there's a couple more things. So once the baby comes out of the womb, it all of a sudden has rights. It all of a sudden is a person versus in the womb.
Right.
Where it was technically, it's just in a different place, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that discussion is a lot more of a philosophical one than a scientific one, and it goes down to your worldview, whether or not you believe the Word of God.
Right.
Because that is a foundational problem.
Yeah, because if you're having a conversation with a non-Christian, then the subject matter changes completely, because your basis of life is totally different.
It's
so
totally
you have
different.
to talk about, but there are plenty of secular groups out there who are pro-life and who would be able to articulate those points. But unfortunately, I'm not one of those people who's very articulate, but
No, it's good.
We actually have a question, and I see. It's kind of that can't really.
It's right here.
Yeah. Well, no, above it, someone. How do you?
Hang on.
How do you
talk someone out of getting an abortion without sounding judgmental? Asked by Autumn Taylor. Thank you, Autumn.
Thanks, Autumn. That's a great question.
That's a really good question, because I think a lot of times when you're convinced in your own mind about a topic, like, you'll defend your side of it, like, passionately, and it will come across sometimes as like, you don't believe the way I believe. Well, you're just whatever, and it can come across as very judgmental. And to avoid that, it can be a difficult thing. But I think first of all, understand, like, putting yourself in that person's shoes, because I mean, how you got there, how you got to that point, that could be any number of paths to get to that point where you're considering an abortion, and talking to them, knowing where they are in life, who they are, and what they're struggling with, can do a lot to frame the conversation. Right. And because if you approach the person as if they're a part of the Planned Parenthood agenda, you're going to come across as very abrasive. Coming from where we stand anyway.
So I would approach it as asking questions first, asking questions about them. How do they feel? What's going on? Really care for them, because we know you do, because obviously you're trying to help them and their baby.
Right.
Approach them, like I said, with the questions. Care about them. Approach it like that. And then the second stage would be to kind of introduce the idea of, well, what if we considered the baby's options?
Yeah.
This is a life, and maybe we disagree on that, but maybe we could talk about the possibilities, the positives of going full term, having the child, and potentially giving it to a family who can't have a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So appealing to their sympathetic, the side of them that might want to help someone else. But all the while, your idea is, I want to help you. And approaching it that way, because if you really want to help them, and not tell them they're wrong, you're not going to come across judgmental. If you put that loving foot forward, and if they choose to go through with the abortion, don't feel like you have failed.
Right.
Because ultimately it is a personal decision, and who knows. You send them a text message the day that they're supposed to go in and just say, hey, I remembered our conversation from the other day. I'm praying for you. And I'm praying for this baby's life. And, but just know God's got a plan for you and that baby. And
right.
You have a choice today to do what's right. But that's just, it is so hard. Like, that is not, because whoever you're talking to, it could be a different situation. It's just,
you don't know what the situation is, but I like the idea of asking them, how can I help you? Like, how can I help you right now? And you're like, I can only do so much. I can't do this for every woman. Reach out to other people too. Be willing. Like, I want to. Will you at least, like, would you at least be willing to visit a pregnancy center with me and see an ultrasound? Because we did have a comment. Elizabeth said, try to show them an ultrasound. And I think if you convince them, like, look at this ultrasound and see this child, and before you make this decision, let them know, like, this is a big decision either way, whatever you believe. Even if you are pro-choice, that is not something to be done lightly. And try to appeal to that side as well. And if you can convince them to see an ultrasound, a lot of women have changed their minds after seeing a child.
I think that's the great option, is just saying, hey, you know what? I respect you. I respect your opinions and beliefs, but why not just go to this pregnancy clinic with me? It's free.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing that... There's no cost.
Yeah.
Like, it is free, and you know what? Why not?
And I think that goes a long way, because a lot of times people turn to abortion because it may be their last option. They feel like no one else is helping them, so they have to go do this thing.
Some people believe in pro-choice, but they only know of one choice.
Right.
Let them know that there are other choices they can make.
And just the very act of you helping them or reaching out will make them realize, there's more than one thing that I can do, and that might go a long way. Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't insult them by saying, well, it's selfish to get an abortion, even though...
Yeah.
The
thing is, yes, if you know the truth about abortion, I would say, without a doubt it is. But if you're actually deceived, and you think that this is just a medical procedure, that there's no death or you're not murdering anyone when you do this, then I wouldn't say that it's selfish. I would just say it's coming from a place of just not knowing what's going on. That person's deceived, and you need to share the truth with them.
Then you have to help them understand that there's a life growing in them, and it's not just like people portray it as just a clump of cells.
Right. It doesn't look like a clump of cells. I can tell you that.
Yeah, because you have a child yourself,
and
you got to see all those ultrasounds and the growth, and now he's just this awesome little thing, and you're just like, how could anybody have thought you were just a clump of cells at one time? And so that's what I think. I don't have any kids myself, but I know all the kids in my life that are very close to me, very dear to me. I'm like, how could someone have wanted to destroy you?
And another thing is, I would imagine that a lot of us usually know of a couple who cannot have kids and would love to adopt. And so, I don't know. It depends on the situation. It might be overstepping in certain situations, but to go as far as to introduce that couple and the person who's thinking about an abortion, and just saying, look, there's somebody here who would love to take this baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And showing them that not only can they have this baby, they don't have to go through with abortion, but the baby's going to be fine.
Right.
And they'll be okay too. And I think that could be a very effective thing to do. Yeah.
Right. And just a small plug, one of our movies, Summer Snow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
One of the characters has a roommate who becomes pregnant and is considering an abortion, and the roommate is in a position where she just says, "I'll take the baby."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes God puts us in situations where we can be that kind of person to where, you know what, I'm gonna take the responsibility of that child. Please just have the baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that is something, if you're in the right space and God just kind of has allowed you to be there, then go ahead and take a leap.
Yeah.
But if you're 13 and your 13-year-old friend is offering, telling you they're going to get an abortion, probably not.
Yeah, you're probably not equipped for that.
Yeah.
But
and I hope, and too often, I know that 13 sounds very young, but too often that is the case.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I just hope that we can, within our churches, within our homes, we can teach our young kids, our preteens, how to talk to someone who is in a situation like that. They don't have to know all the science. They just, just to be a kind friend to somebody who's in trouble.
Right.
Maybe guide them to get help from older and wiser people. Maybe look, I know people that are willing to talk to you, and they're not here to tear you down or judge you. They want to talk you through this.
They want to help.
Yeah. So
and we're back.
We're back. Sorry, we had a little phone call coming on the device that we're using for this. So we're back though. We're good, and we actually have someone sharing a little story. Autumn talking about her coworker who was going in to have her fourth abortion, and Autumn apparently slowly talked to her and loved on her, and eventually this coworker decided to keep her child, and so that now that baby is her world, and you just see the difference it'll make when someone
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's a really great story, and I think it's a lot of. I think it brings hope for the ones who are asking and wondering, how do I talk this person out of it? It's a possibility, but you just have to love on them and yelling at them. Be persistent. So, do you have anything else to add to that, though?
No, I think all these articles are just numbers. So, but hopefully we'll be able to, one day report like Generation X or whatever.
Generation X is in the past. We're looking at Generation Z now.
Okay, Generation Z is 100% pro-life.
Yeah.
And if man,
it can happen. It can definitely happen.
And I think if we just continue to have conversations like this, regardless of disagreements, that we can civilly have, we can talk about these things. And but again, if you want to check out the movie Unplanned, just to learn more about Abby Johnson's story, the movie has not been released yet.
Right.
But we're not promoting this movie. We just thought it was cool that Hollywood, there's an actual movie coming out that's kind of promoting the pro-life movement. If you want to check that out, I'll have all the links below. You can do that. And now, we did not announce this before at the beginning, but we're going to do a giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
See, there you go.
Here
Brand new Bible. So you can keep this for yourself or give it to a friend who
Yeah.
is considering an abortion.
Yeah, this is called the Ancient Modern Bible. If you want to go look it up, this is the King James version
It's
of
the
it. The
new King James
version of it, and you can look it up online if you want to check it out and see what it looks like. So all you have to do, what are they required to do?
You are required.
Thank you.
So
the requirements.
You can get updates from Engage Magazine by signing up for emails. I'll have that linked below as well, so no worries. And then like Engage Magazine's Facebook page too. And while you're in there, we'll throw in an extra point for the giveaway if you like American Family Studios' page as well. We post stuff on there all the time. We try to keep it uplifting, encouraging, and as you'll see, our motto is uplift, inspire, encourage. So we're that's what we try to be all about. And if you want to win this Bible, I would go and do those things. And don't worry, if you forget what to do, I'll also
it'll be below. It's good.
It'll be everything's below, and we will make that decision. We will draw a winner on Monday. So you have the weekend, you guys. So get on
and
it.
Share it. Sharing it won't make you entered to win, but, it's possible that somebody might win. So we'll be glad to have anybody participate that we can and to watch this video because hopefully it was helpful in some way or another, and maybe we could do this again.
Yeah, definitely. I had fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
All right.